It wasn't a drill. The intercom crackled. Then came the message. Lock the doors. Turn off the lights. Stay silent. First, we thought it was about a shooter. But what we saw, what we heard, it wasn't human. One classroom never opened their door. Not until it was too late. This is the true story of a school lockdown that may not have been caused by a person. Jamie was 17, a senior, quiet, smart, kept to herself. She wasn't the kind of kid who stirred up trouble. If anything, she avoided it. But she was there that day, the day the school went into lockdown. And she remembers everything. The school was old, too old, built in the early 60s. The floors creaked no matter where you stepped. The lights buzzed and flickered sometimes, especially near the science wing. The building always felt cold, even when the heat was turned up. That week had already felt off. There was snow in the forecast, heavy snow. A few parents kept their kids home just in case. That morning, only about half the students showed up. Jamie was one of them. Second period was when the weird stuff started. The PA system cut in with this low screech. Then nothing. No announcement. Just static. It happened twice. Teachers said it was a wiring issue. Old school, old problems. But Jamie saw something else. Right before lunch, she was walking down the east hallway alone. Her class had been let out early. She told us she saw someone at the end of the corridor. Not a student, not a teacher, just standing there. She didn't say anything at first. Thought maybe it was a custodian. But when she blinked, the figure was gone. That's when she remembered something. Something a friend had said earlier that week. The janitor had quit. Just walked out. No notice. One day he was there, the next day his closet was empty. People said he saw something in the boiler room. Something that scared him enough to leave everything behind. Jamie didn't believe in that kind of stuff. Ghosts, demons, whatever. But that day, she felt something. Like the air got heavier. Like the hallways weren't empty. And just before fifth period, everything got worse. Fifth period was about to start. Jamie had just taken her seat in history class. Second floor. Third door on the left. The room with the peeling map of the world. And that one broken light that always flickered when it got cold. She remembered her teacher walking in, setting down his folder, and saying something about how the snowstorm might hit earlier than expected. That's when the speaker on the wall made a sound, like it was choking on static. Then came the voice. This is not a drill. All rooms, initiate lockdown protocol immediately. There was a pause. 1 second. 2. Just long enough for everyone to realize. That wasn't the normal lockdown tone. No alarms. No rehearsed phrases. Just raw, clipped words. Like someone reading from a card. The teacher moved fast. Turned off the lights. Closed the blinds. Told everyone to get down. Get quiet. You could hear the sound of chairs scraping the floor. Backpacks hitting the ground. A few kids whispered. One started crying. No one laughed. No one said it was fake. At first, they thought it was an active shooter. That was the only thing that made sense. Everyone had been trained for it. Drills, instructions, safety videos. You knew the steps. But what you're not ready for, what no one talks about, is what it feels like when it's real. Minutes passed. Maybe 10. Maybe 20. No sound in the halls. No police. No sirens. Just silence. Then the whispers started. A girl near the back leaned over and whispered that she saw someone in the hallway. A tall shape, just standing there. Said it looked like they were covered in blood. Another student told her to shut up. Said it wasn't funny. But she wasn't laughing. Jamie didn't see anything. But she heard something. Like a soft knock. Once. Then again. Not at their door. But maybe the next room over. The teacher pulled out their phone. No service. That's when one of the students tried to text their mom. But the screen froze. Wouldn't send. Whatever was happening. They were on their own. 30 minutes went by. No updates. No sirens. No footsteps in the hall. Just silence. By now, the room was ice cold. A few kids tried to text their parents. Most of the messages wouldn't go through. One student managed to send a single word: locked. Jamie was crouched near the back of the classroom, knees against her chest. Her phone buzzed once. It was a message from her friend in room 208. "Do you hear the knocking?" At first, she thought her friend was messing with her. But then, she heard it too. Knocking. Slow. Rhythmic. Not loud. Like someone didn't want to be heard, but still wanted to be let in. Jamie looked at her teacher. He was already standing, quiet, watching the door. He moved toward the little rectangular window and leaned in just enough to peek out. When he turned back, his face was pale. He didn't say anything, just shook his head and backed away. That's when the tension in the room changed. Everyone felt it. Not panic, something else. Like the walls were listening. Like they weren't the only ones locked inside. Someone whispered that they saw something earlier that week. Said during gym class they looked up and saw a hand reaching down from inside the ceiling panel. Not a joke. Not a prank. Just a hand. Another student mumbled something about the land the school was built on. An old story. The kind nobody ever really looked into. About how the original building burned down in the 50s. They said kids died in that fire. 3 of them. Some say their bodies were never found. Some say they were buried underneath the school, right where the East Wing was built. Jamie never believed in ghost stories, but something about that hallway had always made her stomach turn. Too quiet, too still. And now, hiding under a desk, in a locked classroom, hearing knocks at the door, she couldn't shake the feeling that whatever was out there wasn't human, and it wasn't alone. The knocking didn't stop. It wasn't loud, but it had a pattern. 3 knocks, pause, 2 more. Then it would start again. 3 knocks, pause, 2 more. It didn't sound angry or rushed. It sounded patient, like whoever or whatever was out there had all the time in the world. Jamie held her breath. Every muscle in her body was tight. Her knees hurt from crouching, but she didn't move. No one did. Then, the knocking stopped. 1 minute. Nothing. Then 2. Then 5. The silence wasn't calming. It was worse. Because now, they didn't know where it was. And then, the door unlocked. No key. No footsteps. It just clicked. And the handle started to turn by itself. The teacher stood up and whispered, "Don't move." He motioned for everyone to stay low. Stay quiet. And then the door began to open. The hallway outside was empty. Or at least, it looked that way. Footsteps echoed down the hallway, slow, steady, but no shadows. No figure. No breath. Jamie was frozen. She couldn't take her eyes off the open door. Her hands were shaking. She reached for her phone, maybe out of instinct. And that's when it happened. She didn't touch the screen. The flashlight just turned on its own, like something wanted to be seen. The light hit the wall just to the left of the door. And there, right at eye level, were handprints. 5 little handprints. Too small to belong to any of the students in that class. Too low on the wall to be from someone standing. They looked fresh, wet, like something or someone had just been there. The teacher slammed the door shut and locked it again. But everyone knew whatever had been out there, it had already gotten in. At 2:41 p.m., the lockdown was lifted. No shooter, no arrest, no threat. Police came in slow, careful, swept the hallways, cleared each classroom. Nothing was found. Not a single person in the building who wasn't supposed to be there. Jamie and the rest of her class were told to go home. No answers, no explanation, just go home. Later that evening, the school district released a statement, said there had been a technical malfunction, that the lockdown had been called out of an abundance of caution. But then something strange happened. The security footage from the school, over an hour of it, was corrupted. Everything between 1:12 and 2:34 p.m. Gone. Blank. Every camera in the building glitched at the same time, except for one frame. It came from the camera just outside Jamie's classroom. The frame is shaky, low-res, hard to make out. But in the center of the shot, Something is there. A small figure. Short, thin, bare feet. Standing still right in front of the door. Head tilted to the left. Eyes wide open, glowing white. The police called it a glitch. Said it was just light distortion, maybe dust on the lens. A trick of shadows. But when Jamie saw it, she didn't blink. She just whispered, "That's what I felt." The janitor who quit the week before? His name was Carl Watkins. Worked there for 17 years. Never missed a shift. Then one day he packed up and vanished. No goodbye. No notice. His brother told reporters Carl had been acting strange for weeks. Said he refused to go into the basement. Said he believed there were tunnels down there. Tunnels nobody had used since the original building burned down. There was a fire. December 9th, 1956. 3 kids trapped inside after hours. No bodies recovered. Just ashes. The official report says the foundation was poured right over it. The new school was built right on top. The tunnels were supposed to be sealed, buried and forgotten. But some stories don't stay buried. 1 week after the lockdown, Jamie got an email. It didn't have a sender name, just a string of random numbers. No subject line, no attachments. "You saw it. Don't go back." She never replied. She never showed it to anyone. But she never went back to that school either. She finished her senior year from home, quietly, no explanation. She never talked about the lockdown again. 3 years passed. One night, Jamie couldn't sleep. She was scrolling Reddit. True horror thread. Same kind of stories she used to read back in high school. That's when she saw the post. "Anyone else go to school? Did you see the girl in the walls during the lockdown?" She stared at it for a long time. Read the words again and again. The post had no replies, no upvotes, nothing. Just sat there for a few minutes. Then vanished. Deleted. Like it was never there. Jamie said nothing. Just turned off her screen. Sat in the dark. And thought about the handprints. The eyes. The knocking. Some things follow you, even if you leave. And some doors don't stay closed. This story was sent in anonymously. No name, no details we could trace. But here's the strange part. It's not the only one like it. We've heard almost the same story, different names, different towns, but the same details. A lockdown, a door that opens by itself. A shadow, a figure with glowing eyes. Some say it's just panic, a shared hallucination. Kids under pressure. But others, they think she's still there, wandering. Still waiting behind that door, still looking for someone who saw her. So I'll ask you this, what would you do if the lockdown door opened by itself? Have you ever experienced something during a lockdown that didn't make sense? Let us know in the comments. We read every single one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want more real stories like this. Next week, we're heading into the basement of a school in Pennsylvania. One that swallowed someone whole, literally, and to this day they were never found.